Okay, so welcome to the last video of 2022. So to end this year off with a bang, I thought we'd actually take a look at something of a 2022 related problem. Something related in terms of a number theory problem, for example, as what we're going to be working with today. So we're given that 0.301 is less than log base 10 of 2, which is less than 0.3011. So we want to show that 5.48 is strictly less than log base 4 of 2022, which is less than 5.5. So if you don't want to actually prove the following, you can of course just grab a calculator and see that indeed that log base 4 2022 is approximately 5.49, which is indeed following what's this inequality that we're dealing with within our bounds. So yeah, if you want to end things there, sure. But let's say that we're not actually, allow calculators and, that would take away the fun if we were allowed that sort of, advantage. So of course we would have to utilize our given, and that's what we plan on to do in order to show the following of the implication is true. So we need to get a little bit creative on how we deal with the number 2022. So let's actually do that. And this just utilizes a bunch of, with law-based properties. And another one we're going to be doing is the trick really is, well, I wouldn't say the trick, but rather the strategy behind this is we want to prove one side of the inequality. And then once we get to that, we actually can prove the other side. And if we can show both ways, this shows the implication that this whole implication over here is going to be true. So let's actually start off this last video off with a bang. So this statement here is going to be a fairly short video to actually prove, which that's okay because it's a 2022 problem, so why not? So we want to notice that 2022 is actually, obviously we know that that's going to be less than 2048, which indeed is the same thing written as 2 to the power 11. And another thing we'll be using is that in terms of the log-based property, we have that log of b of a is the same thing in terms of written as a log base 10 of log base 10 of a and then divided by log base 10 of b. Okay, so with this in mind, so let's actually rewrite our log base 4 2022 in another way that we want to analyze the following. So of course with this is the same thing written as log base 10 of 2022 being divided by log base 10 of 4. And then in other words, we can create this inequality that this is the less than, strictly less than, in other words, log base 10 of 2048, which in other words is the same thing as 2 to the power 11. And then of course 4 is the same thing written as 2 to the power 2, so I'll put that as well. And then what we can do is, of course, by applying some logarithmic properties with the exponents, I'll move that out to the front, which is the same thing written as 11 divided by 2, which is the same thing written as 5.5. Okay, so that was just fairly easy because we actually just showed that one side of the inequality. We have that log 4 2022 is indeed strictly less than 5.5. We actually take things up the extreme left-hand side and the extreme right-hand side. So now the next trick, rather now the next direction we have to go with is we have to show that 5.48 is less than log base 4 2022. So how do we actually start off with something like that? Well, we can actually just go back to the same number, log base 4 2022, and create yet another bound such that the number we're dealing with is bigger than the 5.48. But in order to proceed forward with that, we're going to have to take things a little bit smaller, rather a little bit bigger than 5.48 before we can actually reach to that jurisdiction to show that 5.48 is less than the center. So now what I'll do is I'll just take that same number, the log base 4 of 2022, then I'll just write that using the property with the log base 10. So log base 10 of 2022 and then divided by log base 10 of 4. We know that the number 2000 is obviously smaller than 2022, so we're actually going to use this to create a nice little bound and put this as an inequality that this number is greater than log base 10 of 2000 and then divided by log base 10 of 4. Then to continue forward, so I'll just denote this arrow to continue this next expression in order to simplify things. This is the same thing equal as, so we can split this up as log base 10 of 2 times 1000. And of course, this is still being divided by log base 10 of 4, or rather I'll write this as 2 to the power 2. And then we know from natural law properties, we can actually split this up with an addition. So this is the same thing as log base 10 of 2. Then we add this with log base 10 of 1000. And of course, this is still divided by log base 10 of 2 to the power square. I can move the exponent, but we'll get to that step eventually. Then we know that log base 10 of 1000 is actually just going to equal 3, since 10 to some power that we're trying to solve for is equal to 1000. Of course, that's going to equal 3. So now that just yields us with log base 10 of 2. Add this with 3, and then divided by 2 log base 10 of 2. And then to continue forward, to simplify things even further, we have that this is just 1/2, and then add this with 3 divided by log base 10 of 2. So now to continue further with what we simplified to, so now we can actually continue with the direction and now show that 1/2 plus 3 divided by 2 log base 10 of 2 is actually going to be greater than 5.48. Okay, so with that, let's actually get on to that. What we'll do is we'll actually subtract the 5.48 to both sides. So that means I have 1/2, then add this with 3, 2 log base 10 of 2, and then minus 5.48. This is of course going to be greater than 0. So now what I'll do is let's actually now multiply a log base 10 of 2 to both sides. So now to put things, so I have 1/2, then plus 3, 2 log base of 10 of 2, then subtract 5.48. And we just multiplied this with log base 10 of 2. So of course on that right hand side, that's still going to be 0. Then let's simplify some things even further. So 1/2. And the next step, what I'll do is I'll actually write this in terms of the whole thing. It's just a decimal. So 0.5 minus 5.48. That's the same thing as minus 4.98. And I'll just multiply the log base 2 to all of that. So that means that'll cancel. And then write 3/2. I'll just write that as 1.5. So we have 1.5. And then subtract 4.98 log base 10 of 2. And of course, that's still going to be strictly greater than 0. But to further enhance this, we're actually going to use the given that 0.301. The given inequality over here is the following. So if that's the case, and if I use that to create this bound, then that means don't forget that we have a negative. So that means I have to switch that bound. So that means we're using the larger number, in this case, the upper bound from what are given. And I'll change this to say that this is actually going to be greater than 1.5, subtract 4.98, then we multiply by 0.3011. Then if we just do that multiplication, this is actually going to be the same thing as 1.5 subtract 1.499478, which is of course strictly greater than 0. That further hence is saying that we indeed showed that 1/2 plus 3 divided by 2 log base 10 of 2 is indeed greater than 5.48. If this doesn't seem convincing to you, what you can do is you can actually just add 5.48 to both sides and see that it's actually gonna get you that same following over here. So not only did we just prove the left-hand side, rather the right-hand side first, which we showed that log base 4 2022 is indeed less than 5.5, but we also showed that 5.48 is not only less than this number, but we also showed that this number is indeed the same thing written as log 4 2022. So therefore this concludes that 5.48 is indeed strictly less than log base 4 of 2022, which is indeed less than 5.5, which completes our little proof of verifying the following of a 2022 problem. So there we have it. So cheers for 2022, and thanks for watching all the videos that sticking by me by my side. So I appreciate that. Let's make 2023 a banger. So yeah, that's pretty cool if you ask me.